As gas prices soar, people are mulling alternatives to heating their homes. Here's what to know. At the same time, pressure is mounting on world leaders ahead of the COP26 international climate talks to rapidly reduce the use of fossil fuels, including natural gas. The gas shortage and sense of urgency around the climate crisis have raised an important question: is there a better way to heat our homes? Here's what you need to know: what are the alternatives to gas, and what exactly is a heat pump? As gas prices soar, some countries have had to restart coal plants to fill the gap in electricity production. But there are cleaner alternatives for powering your home: rooftop solar panels. These are particularly good for heating water. With the right support, residents can store energy themselves and sell unused power back to the national electricity grid, but subsidies and incentives vary across countries, while upfront costs can be higher than for conventional water heating systems. Globally, domestic solar power met only 2.1% of space and water heat demand in 2018, according to the International Energy Agency.
Green hydrogen. This fuel has also been touted as a clean alternative since it can be derived from sources like water, rather than fossil fuels, and is produced with renewable energy. But the fuel is still in development phase, and some experts say that using solar or wind energy to produce another fuel right now is a waste of precious renewables. Green hydrogen is widely seen as appropriate for heavy industry and large vehicles, like planes and ships. Between 2007 and the end of 2020, nearly 15 million heat pump units were installed across the 21 countries in Europe for which it has data, the European Heat Pump Association said. Of those, 1.6 million were installed last year, with Germany, France and Italy accounting for nearly half of those sales. The UK is lagging behind, however, according to analysis of the latest data from the EHPA by environmental campaign group Greenpeace, released earlier this month. Last year, the UK installed more than 5 times fewer heat pumps than Lithuania, more than 30 times fewer than Estonia and 60 times fewer heat pumps than Norway, the Greenpeace analysis showed. If the government wants a chance to catch up, it needs a proper strategy and enough cash to clean up our homes on a massive scale. This means substantial grants for heat pump installations, especially for the poorest families, removing VAT on green home technologies and a phase out of gas boilers early next decade, said Greenpeace UK's Policy Director, Doug Parr. The UK government is due to set out its plans to cut carbon emissions from homes in a policy paper in the coming weeks, ahead of the COP26 summit. Worldwide, nearly 20 million households purchased heat pumps in 2019, up from 14 million in 2010, according to the IEA. Most of this growth is from higher sales of reversible units that can also provide air conditioning, it said, reflecting an increased need for cooling as well. Despite this growth, heat pumps still meet less than 5% of global heating needs in buildings, the IEA said. Gas is getting expensive, but is it worsening the climate crisis? It is more efficient than coal and emits less carbon dioxide when burned, but it's made mostly of methane, a harmful greenhouse gas that can leak into the atmosphere from gas pipelines and abandoned wells and cause significant warming. The UN climate change report published in August emphasized the urgent need to control methane emissions. Methane has more than 80 times the global warming power of carbon dioxide and leaks from active and abandoned gas wells, as well as from other sources. Its concentrations in the atmosphere have been rising since the mid-1980s, and more rapidly over the past decade. The US and European Union have agreed to slash methane levels by 30% by the end of the decade and is rallying other nations to do as well. Last year, the European Union and United Kingdom used more renewable energy than fossil fuels to generate electricity. But at the same time, the United States and United Kingdom both rely on gas for around 40% of their electricity. The European Union is a little less reliant. Natural gas accounts for 32% of the 27-country bloc's energy consumption in households, more than fossil fuel-powered electricity, renewables and petroleum products, according to 2019 EU figures. But it is expanding and investing heavily in gas. One issue affecting the urgency with which people view the need to switch away from natural gas may be as simple as its name. Research by the Yale Program on Climate Change Communication, published this month, found that calling it natural gas influenced public perception. While feelings about natural gas were positive among the 2,931 American adults surveyed, feelings about natural methane gas were neutral, and feelings about methane gas and methane were negative. The findings suggest that climate communicators should describe natural gas using the terms methane gas or methane, which is the main component of this energy source, the researchers concluded. The IEA has said that no new fossil fuel boilers should be sold globally from 2025 if the world is to achieve net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2050, where the amount of emissions is not greater than those removed from the atmosphere. Under its roadmap for the energy sector, published in May, sales of gas boilers should fall by more than 40% from current levels by 2030 and by 90% by 2050. More than 80% of UK households are connected to mains gas, and about half in the US use natural gas for home and water heating. Why are these alternatives so hard to access? Also, if you're in a block of flats, as many people are, you may have even less of a say. The UK government has said it plans to ban gas boilers in new build homes from 2025, with low-carbon heating systems to be installed in their place. It also intends to stop the sale of new gas boilers from 2035. But heat pumps remain expensive and their installation often also requires broader changes inside the property, said Catherine Ellsworth Krebs, Senior Research Associate in Sustainability at the UK's Lancaster University. As well as replacing their individual gas boilers, people may need to install bigger radiators and underfloor heating to ensure their homes are warm enough. The country's many older, draftier homes also present an obstacle, she said, since heat pumps produce a lower, constant form of heating that works best with a tight building fabric.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe